Motion, chapter number 8. In daily life, we see many objects at rest and others in motion. Fish swim, birds fly, blood flows through veins and arteries. Atoms, molecules, planets, stars, and galaxies are all in motion. We consider an object to be in motion when its position changes with time. There are some situations where the motion is inferred through indirect evidences. For instance, we feel the motion of air by observing the movement of dust and leaves and branches of trees. What causes the phenomena of sunrise, sunset, and the changing of seasons? It is due to the motion of the earth. But of the earth. But we do not directly perceive the motion of the earth. Why? An object may appear moving for one person and stationary for other. For the passengers of a moving bus, the roadside trees look like to be moving backwards. A person standing on the roadside considers the bus along with the passengers as moving. For a passenger inside the bus, his fellow passengers are at rest. What do these observations show? Most motions are of a complex nature. Some objects may move in a straight line, linear motion. Other objects may take a circular path, circulatory motion. Some objects may rotate and a few objects may vibrate. There may be some situations involving a combination of these motions. In this chapter, we shall learn about the motion of various objects along a straight line. We shall also learn how to express such motions with the help of simple equations and graphs. Later, we shall discuss various ways of describing circular motion. Activity 1. Discuss with your classmate whether the walls of your classroom are at rest or in motion. Activity 2. Have you ever experienced that the rain in which you are sitting sometimes appears to move while it is at rest? Discuss and share your experience with your friends. Think and act. Think and act which sometimes are endangered by the motion of various objects around us, especially in the case of when motion of an object in erratic and uncontrolled as observed in a flooded river, a tsunami, or a hurricane. On the other hand, controlled motion of various objects can be a service to human beings, such as the case of generation of hydroelectric power. Do you sometimes feel the necessity to study the electric motion of some objects and learn the waves to control them? Describing motion. Now we describe the location of an object by specifying a reference point. Let us try to understand this with the help of an example. Let us suppose that a school is 2 km north of the railway station in a village. Here we have specified the position of the school with respect to the railway station. In above example, the railway station is the reference point. We could have also chosen some other reference points according to our convenience. So to locate the position of an object, we need to specify a reference point, and this reference point is called the origin. Motion along a straight line. This simplest type of motion is the motion of an object along a straight line. We shall first learn the way to describe this by an example. Now consider the motion of an object which is moving along a straight path. Let this object starts its journey from point O, which is treated as its reference point. Let the points A, B, and C represent the positions of the object at different instants of line. Firstly, the object moves through C and B and reaches at point A. Then it moves back along the same path and reaches at point C through B. The total path length covered by the object is given by OA plus OC, i 60 km, 60 km plus 35 km is equal to 95 km. This is so the distance covered by the object. To describe the distance, we need only to specify the numerical value. There is no need to specify. the direction of motion. There are some other quantities which, by specifying only their numerical values, the numerical value of a physical quantity shows its magnitude. From above example, can you find the distance between the final position C and the initial position O? This difference gives you the numerical value of the displacement of the object from point O to point C. Through point A, the shortest distance measured from the initial position to the final position of an object is called the displacement. Can the magnitude of the displacement of an object be equal to the distance traveled by that object? Now look at the example given in figure for motion of the object from point O to point A. The distance covered is equal to 60 km and the magnitude of a displacement is also equal to 60 km. During the motion of an object from point O to point A and back to point B, the distance covered is equal to 60 km plus 25 km, 85 km, while the magnitude of displacement is equal to 35 km. Thus, here the magnitude of a displacement 35 km is not equal to the path length which is equal to 85 km. Further, we will notice that the magnitude of the displacement for motion of an object may be 0, but the corresponding distance covered will be never 0. If we consider the object to travel back to point O, the final position of the object coincides displacement is said to be 0. However, the distance covered in this journey is equal to OA plus AO is equal to 60 km plus 60 km is equal to 120 km. Thus, these two different physical quantities, which are the distance and the displacement, are used to represent the overall motion of an object. It is also used to locate its final position with reference to its initial position of the object at a given time. Activity 3. Firstly, take a meter, a scale, and a long rope. Then walk from one corner of a basketball court to its opposite corner along with its sides. Now measure the distance covered by you and the magnitude of the displacement. What difference would you observe between these two in this case? Activity 4, automobiles. Activity 4, automobiles are filtered with a device which shows the distance traveled. Such a device is called an odometer, distance measuring device. Consider an example: a car is driven from Bhubaneswar to New Delhi. Let the difference between the final reading and the initial reading of the odometer is 1850 km. Now find the magnitude of the displacement between the two places, Bhubaneswar and New Delhi, with the help of road map of India. Uniform motion and non-uniform motion. Consider an object which is moving along with a straight line. Let it travels a distance of 50 km in the first hour and a distance of 50 km more in the second hour, 50 km in the third hour, and 50 km in the fourth hour of a journey. In this case, we see that the object covers 50 km in each hour. In this way, this object covers equal distances in equal intervals of time. During its journey, it is said to be in uniform motion. The time interval in our motion may be small or big. In our daily life, we come across different motions where objects cover unequal distances in equal intervals of time. For instance, when a car is moving on a crowded street or a person is jogging in a crowded park, these are some examples of non-uniform motion. Activity 5. The data observed regarding the motion of two different objects A and B are represented in the table 1. Now examine them carefully and try to state whether the motion of the objects is of uniform nature or non-uniform nature. nature. Measuring the rate of motion. Look at the different situations represented in the figure A and B. If the bowling speed is equal to 143 kilo hour per minus in figure A, what does it mean? What do you understand from the speed written on signboard in figure B? Different objects may take different amounts of time to cover a specific distance. Some of the objects move fast and some objects move slowly. The rate at which different objects can also move at the same rate. One of the simplest ways of measuring the rate of motion of an object is to calculate the distance traveled by that object in unit time. This quantity is determined as the speed. The SI unit of a speed is meter per second. This can be represented by the symbol ms के power minus 1 or m per s second, meter per second. The other units of a speed are kilometer per hour and centimeter per second. To find the speed of an object need not be have constant value. In most of the cases, objects will have non-uniform motion, so we now describe the rate of motion of such objects in terms of average speed of these objects. The average speed of an object can be obtained by dividing the total distance traveled by the object to the total time taken. This is if an object travels a distance as in time t, then its speed v. Let us consider this term with the help of an example. Let us consider a car travels a distance of 200 km in 4 hours. Its average speed is equal to 50 km/h per minus. The car might not have traveled at 50 km/h per minus all the time. Sometimes the car might have traveled faster speed and sometimes slower than the average. A speed with direction. The rate of motion of an object can have a compressive nature if we specify its direction of motion of an object along with its speed. The quantity that specifies both these aspects is called velocity. Velocity is the speed of an object which is moving in a definite direction. The velocity of an object can be of a uniform nature or variable. Velocity can be changed by changing the speed of an object, direction of motion, or both terms. When an object is moving along with a straight line at a variable speed, we can also represent the magnitude of its rate of motion in terms of average velocity. It is also calculated by using the same way as we calculate average speed. If the velocity of the object is changing at a uniform rate, then the average velocity is given by the arithmetic mean of its initial and final velocity for a given period of time. This can be written as rate of change of velocity during uniform motion of an object along with a straight line. The velocity remains always constant with time. In this case, the change in velocity of an object for any time interval is equal to 0. However, in case of non-uniform motion, velocity of an object varies with time. It has different values at different instants of time and at different points of the path. Thus, we can say that the change in velocity of the object during any time interval is not equal to 0. Now, can we find out the change in velocity of an object? To answer these questions, we have introduced another physical quantity named acceleration. It is a measure of the change in the velocity of an object per unit time. We can write the kind of motion of an object is called accelerated motion. This acceleration is said to be positive acceleration if it is the direction of velocity, and is negative when it is opposed to the direction of velocity. The SI unit of acceleration is ms के power minus 2. Consider an object which travels in a straight line and its velocity increases by equal amounts in equal intervals of time. Then the object is said to be have uniform acceleration. The motion of a falling body really is an example of a uniformly accelerated motion. On the other hand, we can say that an object is traveling with non-uniform acceleration if its velocity changes at a non-uniform rate. For instance, if a car traveling along with a straight road increases its speed in equal intervals of time by unequal amounts, then the car is said to be have non-uniform acceleration. Activity 8 in your everyday life, you come across various types of motions in which acceleration is the direction of motion of the object. Acceleration is against the direction of motion of the object. Acceleration is non-uniform. Acceleration is uniform. Now, can you identify one example each for the above type of motion? Graphical representation. Graphical representation of motion graphs provide an easy method to present basic information about various events, for instance, in the telecast of a cricket match. Vertical bar graphs show the run rate of a team in every over. As you have already studied in mathematics, a straight line graphs helps in solving a linear equation with two variables. To describe the motion of an object, we can use line graphs. Here, line graphs show dependence of one physical quantity like velocity or distance on another quantity like time. Distance time graphs. Various changes occurring in the position of an object with the time can be represented on the distance time graph by taking a conventional scale of a choice. In this type of a graph, we can represent time along the x-axis and distance along the y-axis. Distance time graphs can be used under various conditions where objects move with non-uniform speeds. Uniform speed or remain at as we know that when an object moves with a uniform speed, it will travel equal distances in equal intervals of time. This shows that the distance traveled by the object is directly proportional to time taken by the object. Therefore, for uniform speed, a graph of distance traveled against time taken is a straight line, as you saw in figure. The part OB of this graph shows that the distance traveled increasing at a uniform rate. Now, note that you can also use another term, uniform velocity, in place of the term uniform speed if you take the magnitude of displacement equal to the distance traveled along with the y-axis. We can also the distance time graph of to find out the speed of an object. For this, consider a small portion AB of the distance time graph as you saw in figure. Now draw a line which is parallel to the x-axis from a point A and another line which is parallel to the y-axis from the point B. These two lines meet each other at a point C to make a triangle ABC. Now on the graph portion AC denotes the time interval T2 minus T1, while the portion BC corresponds to the distance S2 minus S1. We can also see from the graph that as the object moves from the point A to point B, it covers a distance equal to S2 minus S1 in time interval. Therefore, the speed v of the object can be represented as. We can also spot the distance time graph for accelerated motion of an object. The below table shows the distance traveled by a car in a time interval of 2 seconds. The distance time graph is so for motion of the car. Here note that the shape of the graph of an object is different from the previous distance time graph for uniform motion. The nature of this graph represents non-linear variation of the distance traveled by the car with a variation of time. Thus, the graph in figure shows motion of an object with non-uniform speed. Velocity time graphs for an object moving in a straight line. The variation in velocity with time can be expressed by a velocity time graph. In this graph, we represent time along the x-axis and the velocity along the y-axis. If the object moves at a uniform velocity, the height of velocity time graph will not change with the passage of time. This graph will be a straight line which is parallel to the x-axis. Figure shows the velocity time graph for a car which is moving with a uniform velocity of 40 kilometer our power minus 1. As we know that the product of velocity of an object and the time taken gives a displacement of an object which is moving with uniform velocity. The area enclosed by velocity time graph and the time axis is equal to the magnitude of the displacement. Now the distance traveled by the car between time t1 and t2 or a time interval. Draw two perpendiculars from the points corresponding to the time t1 and t2 on the graph. The velocity of 40 kilo per hour power minus 1 is denoted by the height AC or BD, and the time T2 minus T1 is represented by the length AB as shown in the graph. So the distance traveled by the car in time interval T2 minus T1 can be given by. We can also learn about informally accelerated motion by driving its velocity time graph. Now consider a car which is being driven along a straight road for testing its engine power. Suppose a person is sitting next to the driver records the velocity of a car after every 5 seconds by noting the reading of the speedometer, a speed measuring device of the car. The velocity of the car may be in kilometer per hour minus as well as in per second minus at a different instance of a time as shown in table 3. In above mentioned case, for the motion of the car, a velocity time graph is plotted in below given. The nature of this graph shows that velocity of a car changes by equal amounts in equal time intervals. So for all uniformly accelerated motion, the velocity time graph is always a straight line. With the help of velocity time graph, you can also determine the distance covered by the car. The area under the velocity time graph gives the distance which is equal to magnitude of displacement covered by the car in a given interval of time. If the car would have been moving with uniform velocity, then the distance traveled by it would be represented by the area of portion ABCD under the graph as shown in figure. Since the magnitude of the velocity of the car is changing because of acceleration, the distance is traveled by the car will be given by the area of a portion ABCDE under the velocity time graph. In the case of non-uniformly accelerated motion, velocity time graphs can be of any shape. The graph in figure A shows a velocity time graph which represents the motion of an object which velocity is decreasing with passage of time, while graph in figure B shows the velocity time graph which is representing the non-uniform variation of velocity of the object with the passage of time. Now try to interpret these both graphs. Equations of motion by graphical method. When an object having uniform acceleration moves along with a straight line, it is possible to relate its acceleration velocity during motion and the distance covered by it in a certain interval of time by a set of equations which are known as the equations of motion. There are three such equations of motions. These equations are where u is the initial velocity of the object which is moving with uniform acceleration, a for time interval tb is the final velocity, and s is the distance traveled by the object in time interval t. First equation represents the velocity time relation, and the second equation which describes the position time relation, and third equation which represents the relation between the position and the velocity of the object can be obtained from equation 1 and 2 by omitting t. These three equations can be derived with the help of a graphical method. Equation for a velocity time relation. Consider the velocity time graph of an object which is moving under uniform acceleration as shown in a given figure. From this graph we can see that initial velocity of the object is equal to u at point A, and it increases to b at the point B. In time interval t, the velocity of the object changes at a uniform rate In figure, the perpendicular lines BE and BC are driven from point B on the velocity and the time axis respectively, so that the instantaneous velocity U is represented by line OA, the final velocity V is represented by line BC, and the time interval T is represented by line OC. BD is equal to BC minus CD and represents the change in velocity of the object in time interval T. Uniform circular motion. Uniform circular motion. When the velocity of an object changes with the time, we say that the object is possessing acceleration. This change in the velocity could be because of a change in its magnitude or the direction of the motion, or due to both. Now, can you think of an example in which an object does not change its magnitude of velocity but possesses change only its direction of motion? Let us now consider an example of the motion of a body along a path which is closed. Figure A shows the path of an athlete along a track PQRS, which is a rectangular. Let us suppose that the athlete runs at a uniform speed on the straight parts of the track PQ, QR, RS, and SP. In order to keep himself on track, he changes his speed quickly at the corners of the track PQRS. Now tell how many times the athlete will have to change his direction of motion while completed one round. It is clear from figure that to move in a rectangular track once, he has to change 4 times his direction of motion. Now suppose that instead of a rectangular track, the athlete is now running along a path PQRS2U, which is hexagonal in shape as shown in figure. In this present situation, the athlete will have to change its direction of motion 6 times while he completes one round on the track. What happens if the track was not a hexagon but is a regular octagon which have 8 equal sides as shown by PQ, RS, TU, VW in figure C? It is observed that on increasing the number of sides of the track, the athlete has to take more and more turns to stay on path. What would happen to the shape of the path as we go on increasing the number of sides indefinitely? If we do this, we shall notice that the shape of the track becomes a similar shape of a circle and the length of each of the similar shape of a circle and the length of each of the sides will tend to a point. If the athlete moves with a constant magnitude velocity along the circular path, the only change which occurs in his velocity is due to the change in the direction of motion. Thus, we can say that that the motion of the athlete moving along a circular path is an example of an accelerated motion. As we know that the circumference of a circle with radius r is given by 2 pi r. If the athlete takes time t seconds to go once around the circular path with radius r, the velocity v of motion is given by. When an object with uniform speed moves in a circular path, its motion is said to be uniform circular motion. If you note it carefully, you will observe that on being released, the stone moves along a thin line path which is tangent to the circular path. This happens because on releasing the stone at once, it continues to move along the direction in which it has been moving at that instant. This shows that the direction of motion changed at every point of motion when the stone was moving along with the circular path. When an athlete throws a discus or a hammer in supports, he holds the discus or the hammer in his her hand and tries to give it a circular motion by rotating his her oven body. On releasing it once in the desired direction, the discus or hammer moves in the direction in which it was moving at the time of releasing, same as the piece of stone in the activity described however, there are many other familiar examples of objects which are moving under uniform circular motion, like the motion of the moon and the earth motion of a satellite in a circular orbit around the earth. Motion is completely on the circular track at constant pressure and flow.